Okay, June 16th, Thursday, June 16th, open session. For this morning, as we always do, let's take a moment for the pledge and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's jump right into Priority Carol. Commissioner Boucher.
On time. One moment, please. Well, good morning. Thank you, President Rothstein. Mr. Swam, what do we have? We have anything up here to produce? Oh, there you go. We had the 50th anniversary celebration for the Career and Technology Center a couple weeks back. I thought I got the photos up. It was a wonderful event. I want to take note and mention individual there, Tim Blizzard, who is the instructor for the mechanical engineering program, was a graduate of that program 50 years ago, the first graduating class. I'll hear Commissioner Frazier and I are some of the volunteers. It was interesting to see all those people throughout their lives still recognize the importance of the Career and Technology Center, and it's important that we perpetuate that into the future. It was nice seeing all that alumni come together and realize how important the Career and Technology Center is to the county. And I'm very proud to be involved in the expansion of that facility during my term. I think it's one of the most important things we have done in this board to invest in our youth and into the economic development of our county. What else do we have, Mr. Swam? We have anything? Oh, here we go. Let me read this off. This is from Director Jeff Daggett of Recreation and Parks. This is a very heartwarming story. Give me a minute to read this off for this young lady. Program Coordinator Tina Shoup and Ellie Maxwell are making a difference. Tina coaches Ellie Maxwell in archery through the Department of Recreation and Parks, and Ellie was selected at a recent national tournament to receive an award called On Target for Life. This is a national recognition selected from applicants from all over the world, not just the USA. Ellie's award is for courage. She was born with spina bifida and walks with arm crutches and uses a wheelchair when necessary. She is an amazing not only for her courage but in life, but for continued support of being a good archer, teammate, and example to others. The Courage Award is an individual award for students who have overcome a major life event or disability, yet continues to inspire others through their participation and includes a $500 scholarship. Congratulations to Ellie Maxwell for receiving this prestigious award, and special recognition to Tina Shoup in Recreation and Parks for her instruction in the Department Archery program. This is very heartwarming, and I'm so grateful for Director Daggett to bring this to our attention to share with the public. So thank you very much, and I believe that's it for me. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
That's pretty powerful. Thanks. Commissioner Frazier.
All right, thought you were going to go to Weaver next, but okay. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is the torch run. I believe there's a picture for that coming up. Not a picture, but okay. All right.
There it is. That's a
There we go. Torch run. It's a law enforcement torch run for the Special Olympics. It was yesterday. I was fortunate enough to be down there. The guy in the red shirt looks really good. Anyway, fortunate enough to be down there and read the proclamation. Commissioner Wentz was there as well. I understand he took his car, but he didn't. But that's okay, Steve. It's okay. Everyone else either ran or biked in or something like that, but Steve drove in. But it's worth it. Just to have you there was worth it.
Exactly. However I got there.
Oh, there. See, there he is.
There I am right there.
Proof you were there.
Side.
Anyway, it's for Special Olympics. It's for the developmentally disabled students
When's
to
Commissioner Frazier stop
compete
talking?
in Olympic sports, Olympic types of sports. And it's not just a one-day thing. They have year-round sports going on so that these young men and women can compete in. So it's well worth it. As you see, our law enforcement participates in it. It's worldwide now. It's just worldwide. It's everywhere, which is really good.
Mr.
All
Wentz,
right.
is that fountain turned off?
It was turned off for the ceremony.
Are you aware of that?
And it's off now too.
I thought they were turning it back on.
Well, they did, but apparently it's down again. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
It's out of water.
The fountains.
Swimming.
I'm very concerned about the fountain.
Why-
Could
why'd
you make
you
a
do
phone
this?
call?
Why?
Sidetracked them.
Why?
None.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely no reason.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Nothing from the peanut
I
gallery.
thought it
Go
was just
away.
all for the ceremony because they didn't want to distract from me speaking.
Commissioner Frazier, please
All right.
continue.
We also have the retiring at the flag ceremony. It was at the Farm Museum. Commissioner Weaver and Commissioner Rothstein attended that with me as well. I guess there's no pictures for that one. Anyway, you take the flags that were worn and torn and so forth, and Boy Scout Trooper, I think it was 393, was there.
There we go.
There we go. It's a great picture. And anyway, they take they retire the flags as they should be retired. So that's always a great event. I always enjoy going there. The oxen had nothing to do with it. But,
That's Jack.
all right.
Jack is the oxen.
Okay. The bighorns. All right. I was also at the Therapeutic Recreation and Flag Day event at the Farm Museum earlier in that day, where they have the people from the ARC and other agencies around go in. There's a lot of information for them and some activities as well. They had cornhole and stuff like that going on. So it's a good day. It was a good morning, and it was cool in the morning. So it wasn't one of those really oppressive kind of heat, hot days. So it's a little easier for everyone to get around and do things. So that was really good. Also was at there's Commissioner Weaver. All right,
Action photo.
That is.
there you go.
Flag and-
Fire was hot.
It was.
They usually are.
I was going to say it's one of the benefits of fire. Okay. I was also at the Ellsworth Cemetery this past weekend, where they put 9 tombstones or gravestones in for veterans of past wars. One of them, I think 7 were from the Civil War and 2 were from the First World War. And it was a really nice ceremony. They had a small band there playing some music. They played taps. They did some other things. They had a little booklet put out with the names of everyone that got the new tombstones and what they had, what war they participated in, and something about them. So it was really a good thing. And the organization that did this provides tombstones for veterans that don't have them. So this was provided free of cost to the cemetery. And actually they provide tombstones for any veteran from this country all over the world. So and I don't remember the name of the organization. And we also had the virtual meeting with Senator Cardin, which I thought went really well. Commissioner Weaver and Rothstein were both in on that meeting, if I recall. And we got some good back and forth about, Carroll County and how the federal government and so forth, and some updates from the senator. And that's all I have.
Yeah, and we were able to provide him priorities and see where we can go with funding.
Right.
So yeah. Commissioner Weaver.
Okay, I guess go back to the Parks and Recreation therapeutic opportunities. That was a nice morning. I think Chris has a couple pictures here to put up. If it comes up, yeah. All the agencies come in and find out what's available to them as far as Parks and Rec did a great job here. And I think we have one good picture here, if I have it. Yes, Jeff Daggett's working. No.
Easy now.
This was the
We should
food
archive
they
it.
were providing for all the people who came, and really Jeff had a good job here, handing plates out and helping with the rolls. They didn't let him near the real food, so but anyway, has his gloves on, doing it right. But he really good job. And Jeff, to your staff, thank them. They did a fantastic job of providing all kind of information to people there. And Commissioner Frazier and I had a chance to walk around and look at those. And then, as I said, in the afternoon, the evening, we did have the flag retirement. And while Jim and Jack were on there, I took my grandchildren along so they could see how to properly retire a flag. And they were kind enough to at least let them look at the oxen and goats out there and see what's going on. So, yeah, Scott going out of his way to catch Jack and bring him up. And, Commissioner Rothstein needs to be educated in this, too. So
The enjoyment of being a pop, right?
Yep. That's exactly it. So the retirement of flags, the Boy Scout troop has really grown.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the size of that troop compared to where it was. I think 40-some young people in this. So they've really done a great job of getting the troop together on this. So that was good. And one other thing, Senator Cardin's office, the virtual meeting was good, but the veterans celebration, Senator Cardin and Van Hollen both sent their aides out to that event. Both have been attending and will be attending the Veterans Advisory Council meetings. They were impressed with Carroll County and what we're doing. Apparently we're getting some recognition at that level on what's happening out here. So more good stuff to come from those offices, I do believe.
And it's also they're allocating about $120 million to the Veterans Home in Carroll
Side
County,
effect, but
which is a good thing. Commissioner Wentz.
Okay, good morning. Couple things. Last week I was with the MACO Board of Directors for their annual retreat, and it was it's always good to interact with your colleagues from across the state, especially after budget season. It was interesting to hear some of the stories, etc. But the retreat was really good, and it was kind of timely because I understand you all passed a traffic study here, or traffic safety plan last week, and we had a presentation at the retreat from the Vision Zero folks, which is, in layman's terms, the attempt to try to get to a point in the state where there are no traffic fatalities at all. So many of the counties are participating in that, and I know Carroll, with their traffic safety plan, is right in line with that. We also discussed affordable housing challenges and opportunities, had a presentation on that, which is also timely because as we get through the ag rezoning, we're going to be talking about ADUs, and we talked about those a lot at the state level. So, Dick, I know you were involved in that. So more to come on that. It was good to hear about what's happening at the state level there. We also took a tour of the St. Michael's wastewater treatment plant, and while that might not sound exciting, it's interesting to learn how at sea level they deal with this. We deal with it in one way, but when you're at sea level, dealing with wastewater and waste is really challenging.
Doesn't the tidal affect that or something?
And it's amazing because they have to be really, really careful of where they put the pipes in, etc. Pipes have a tendency to float to the top, and it was
other
a
things.
very interesting presentation and tour, and we learned a lot there. And then most importantly, since I saw Mr. O'Neill just walk in, we had a really good presentation on the Blueprint Accountability Implementation Board, which, again, in layman's terms, is the group that they put together under Governor Hogan that's going to hold accountable the Blueprint for Education funding that's coming to all of the counties. And we actually were up close and personal with the chair of that group and another young lady who's representing that group as well, and had some really good one-on-one time with them. And that's going to be very important moving forward. And I'm going to try to pass as much of that on as I can in the next 6 months, so that whoever he is seated here next will be able to watch that. But that's going to be very important coming down the road. So kudos again to MACO. You've all heard me say this before. The working relationship that we have and the things that they accomplish there are second to none. And I certainly hope the next group that comes in here realizes that. The next MACO event will be the summer conference, August 17th through the 20th. And I think most of us are planning to attend that. And the agenda for that is incredibly impressive, so we look forward to that. Attended the Carroll Community College Board meeting. They adopted their budget last night, and we were thanked many, many times because the majority of us did realize some good additions over there for the college. And they're very thankful, and they're very aware of who the majority was. And they were able to realize a really good pay raise for their staff, which has been sorely needed. And they're very grateful for everything that the majority of this board did for the college. And again, the college, when I was down at the Baltimore Metropolitan Council annual meeting, received an award, Carroll Community College. So they continue to impress over there. They also passed their Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Action Improvement Plan last night. What a breath of fresh air. And I'm just going to leave it at that without getting into a political debate about what has been going on in this county. But I applaud the college for their for them working on that. That's good stuff going on. We had our joint meeting with ESAC last night. That was really good. It's good to keep that communication open because, as many of you know, and I've been saying this for 7.5 years now, we're finally to a point where we're seeing the realization of surgically infusing career people into our volunteer stations, and it's not going to be easy. And we're already seeing some of those bumps in the road. I applaud everyone. Kim's in the room. HR's been working incredibly hard on that, and I know it's been a challenge for her and her group. It's a challenge for everybody because this is new. It's a challenge from the budget because, again, we had to pass a budget realizing we were creating a brand new department, which kind of got lost in the political stuff that we were hearing from some people. So we made a lot of great progress here in this county by realizing that new department. So more to come on that, and I very much look forward to that. And I thank everybody on ESAC. They gave us their strategic plan last night. Very impressive. That was put together by over 70 volunteers. Let's not forget that word. Father's Day, happy Father's Day to everybody. That's Sunday, and summer officially begins this weekend, which brings many challenges when it comes to safety. And here's my public safety message for the day. Make sure you have your head on a swivel. From swimming pools to highway safety, etc. You've got to make sure that we get through this season without any major incidents, and I hope that that's the case. And I will leave it at that. Thank you.
And sunscreen on the head. Just saying, or wear a hat. Yeah, I thought the ESAC meeting was very productive, and giving a person and a group a purpose is kind of what I felt, and it was good dialogue. The Flag Day, another name for Flag Day, well, not another name for Flag Day, but another occurrence during Flag Day is the birthday of the senior service, which is the United States Army. It was the 247th birthday of the United States Army. So happy belated birthday to my brothers and sisters in green. Do you have a picture for me, Chris? I was humbled and honored. There it is. Eagle Scout Ben Bergamashi did some work over at Piney to receive his Eagle Scout. He's only 16 years old, and typically we see 17, 18-year-olds. He's coming out of Winfield Troop, and we did it over at St. Joe's in Eldersburg, and the place was packed. And it was really an honor to read a proclamation and just hear his story and share some stories amongst all those in attendance. So congratulations again to Benton, or goes by Ben. I think, Dick, you've said it before. It'd be really cool to get these type of pictures in the paper, and get these type of honors of Eagle Scouts. We do it right, with the amount of Eagle Scouts that this county produces and this community has. And then on a somber note, Sunday night, a sheriff's deputy was shot and killed down in Wacomico. Glenn Hillman Hilliard, Glenn Hilliard, and just hoping that his memories are a blessing to his family and the community that he served so gallantly, and doing his job in uniform. So, just keep him and those that put themselves in harm's way willingly. Wake up, go to work. Thanks. I didn't know you had that, and don't know what's going to happen throughout that day. So, again, our hearts are out to Wacomico community for losing this fine gentleman who was, I believe, a 10-year veteran on the force.
He was. I happened to be down there when that occurred, sadly, and I did reach out to Wycomico as a commissioner in Carroll, since I was kind of around the corner. When you're on the shore, you're kind of around the corner from everything, and gave our condolences from Carroll.
Yep. Thanks. Yeah, it is frustrating. Okay. Without any further ado, let's move right into item number 1, with the renewal of the MOU between Carroll County Commissioners and Maryland Classified Employees Association, Incorporated, Chapter 550. Ms. Frock, what do you have to say to us?
Hope all is well today. Okay, so every 2 years, we bring this contract to the board for signature. We're renewing our memorandum of understanding with Maryland Classified Employees Association. We have been with them since April of 1973. They provide representation for all eligible employees of Carroll County Commissioners who are members. Currently, we have one member, so it's just one person at this point. But we certainly tell the new employees that it's available to them if they're interested, and it's their choice if they want to join. We provide payroll deduction for the dues and other member benefits, and chapter officers obviously would have time off. I don't believe we have any chapter officers here because we only have one person in. So that's it.
One member?
One.
Used to have 2, as I recall. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now we're down to 1.
Okay.
I mean, is there a reason not to do this and renew this?
No, I mean, you never know if new employees will sign on
See
for
the
it.
benefit for it.
You know,
Yeah.
it's never been something that a lot of county employees have done. So,
But they have the option if they want to.
correct.
Right. So I make the motion the Board of Commissioners approve and sign an MOU between County Commissioners of Carroll County and Maryland Classified Employees Association Incorporated, Chapter 550.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second. And is there any discussion on this? In here, none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'll
Thanks,
give
Kim.
the contract
Ms.
to the board
Frost.
for signature.
Okay, let's talk about the FY22 operating budget transfer 22 tax 01 for the Carroll County Public Schools. Mr. O'Neill, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen and lady, and happy summer. Our summer began on Tuesday, at least until summer school starts on July 11. So you have, I think, 2 action items before you for consideration from the last Board of Ed meeting. One is kind of the standard year-end transfer among the major budget categories that we bring about this time every year. So when we finish out the fiscal year and we have a little bit of savings in one of the major categories and some needs in others, we have to have those categories aligned to round out the fiscal year. So that's what the budget transfer is about. There's not really anything too unique on this year's versus prior years, at least not in my estimation. And then secondly, and this one is a little bit unique, we have a budget adjustment for the food service operating budget. And food services is, for us, is a bit like an enterprise fund. It's a self-funded program in our school system, and they rely on sales, but also on federal reimbursement for meals, historically or typically under the free and reduced meals program. But as you're aware, in the last couple of years, during the pandemic, the federal government had relaxed the restrictions on meals being served to allow all children of school age in the communities to receive free meals. And so we served a lot of free meals through the help of not only our hardworking food service folks, but a lot of people who volunteered to be part of that meal service process during those times. And and we get reimbursed from the federal government for every meal served. So we have a significant but unique budget adjustment into the food services program. Those regulations expired a few days ago, really, and I don't have anticipation that it doesn't appear to me that the feds are going to look at reinstituting that relaxation going forward. So it seems like going forward we'll be back to normal, but this adjustment reflects that period of time when those regulations were relaxed. That's
Mr.
probably enough, so I'll pause.
Okay. Mr. O'Neill, for the public to understand why it's the BOE budget and you're coming here, can you give a brief description of why you have to do this for the public to understand?
Sure. Under Maryland education law, the county commissioners have to approve, every county, not just Carroll, every county's commissioners or council has to approve the Board of Education's operating budget by the major categories that are defined for every school system in Maryland or every Board of Ed in Maryland under state law. There's about a dozen or so major categories. And then any time during a year that the Board of Ed needs to make a transfer among those major categories, or an adjustment, which would be an increase or decrease to one of those categories. And you have one of each of those things in front of you today. Those transfers or adjustments between categories or adjustments to a category have to be approved by the Board of Ed, and then within 30 days submitted to the county authority for you to consider and approve as well.
Thank
All
you.
under
That
the
was-
state
that was
education
perfect.
article. There you go.
Okay.
I'll move the Board of Commissioners approve operating budget adjustment 22-01 for the Board of Education FY22 operating fund budget.
Second.
A motion second for the first action. Any questions? Seeing here none. All in favor?
Aye. And I'll make the motion, the Board of Commissioners approve food services budget adjustment 22-01 for the Board of Education FY22 food services fund budget.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion, I got a second regarding the food services fund budget. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Just one quick question.
Sure.
Fuel prices, they are probably wreaking havoc on your budget, I would think.
If you were to dissect the categorical changes, one of the major categories that came in under was transportation. That's partly due to the increase in diesel fuel for most of the year, and partly because the Board of Ed made some retroactive pay changes, knowingly made some retroactive pay changes for bus drivers and assistants back to January 5th. But good question, good point, Commissioner. We are budgeted for fiscal 23 at $3.50 per gallon for diesel, and as you know, diesel is significantly higher than that. Now, the good news there, other than hope that inflation become under control, is that in the Board of Ed's fund balance policy, there's a provision written in the Board of Ed's policy that we set aside, or we sort of pre-allocate a percentage of the fund balance to cover overages in healthcare, like if we had a call, fuel, which is mainly for transportation. So in a given year, that doesn't cause me a tremendous amount of heartburn because the fund balance is there to be able to cover whatever that overage would be. We do reimburse our bus contractors. We pay our bus contractors on an annual formula, and most of those numbers are set for the year. Fuel, however, we reimburse them almost in real time. We take a fuel survey every 2 weeks and pay them the going rate. So if we need to cover that next year, we can, and then we can look at budgeting differently for the
Any
years.
help from the state on this, or?
A little bit. There's a portion of state funding for transportation. There was a time historically, a long time ago, where the state paid for all transportation. For what we would call regular ed transportation, there's a small amount. For special ed transportation, a bit more. But this is mostly a locally borne cost.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Have a great summer.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. Okay, we're going to skip item 4 for a second, or for a few minutes, the Civil War Heritage, because we're expecting a couple of outsiders. Let's go to FY 2023 program Open Space allocation to municipalities.
And as Jeff's coming up to the table, I have a very important, time-sensitive announcement that I have to make. The fountain is on.
Let me go look.
You can look. Let me see.
Should we all take a pause and
I
recess?
think we need a moment of silence or something. The fountain
Thank you
is
very
on.
much.
A moment of gratitude.
I feel differently now.
I think we should stand up and applaud our facilities
It's the
folks.
sunscreen.
Yay.
I feel like I should come back another day now. I can't possibly match that.
You're shadowed.
No, you can't. but
it's
go
gonna be
ahead.
tough, but go ahead.
Go ahead and try. Municipalities, open space.
Yes. Every year, we take 25% of our program open space funds that we receive as Carroll County, and we dedicate them for municipal projects. And then also each year, of the 8 municipalities, they take turns. 4 typically are funded one year, the other 4 would receive funds the next year. This year, the 25% figure of the POS funding is $554,750. And for the people at home, I know you have this in front of you. I'll go through the projects very quickly. Hampstead is requesting funding for Sugar Maple Park upgrades. And this will include an obstacle course playground and a family picnic area. And all of the dollar amounts for each of the towns will be the same, $138,687. The town of Manchester has requested funding for some athletic field lighting upgrades at Christmas Tree Park. That's a park that's used very extensively by our North Carroll Rec Council. Town of Mount Airy has requested funding for replacement playground equipment at Summit Ridge Park. And the town of Sykesville got the same amount of money, however, they elected to split it for 2 projects. One is rehabilitation of a pedestrian bridge at Millard Cooper Park. That'll be $90,000. And then Sykesville Linear Trail rehabilitation would be $48,687. So what we are requesting from the board is these projects have been recommended by the local chapter of the Maryland Municipal League. We would like to include them along with our county projects in our program open space annual report. However, we need your approval in order to include those in there. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have about the projects.
I was wondering, where is Linear Trail at?
That runs from Obrecht Road and it goes all the way down to the Patapsco River.
Oh, nice. Well, I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve the recommendation of the local chapter of the Maryland Municipal League for FY23 municipal program open space projects.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I was going to also ask, the linear trail, it's off of Spout Hill? It's on one side or the other, going down from Obrecht?
I'm trying to picture where Spout Hill is.
Spout Hill, the church,
Yeah, up on the hill, it goes,
and then goes straight down.
I believe it's near there, but
Yeah, it would have to be,
Yeah.
if it goes from Obrecht to Patapsco. Okay, I'll take a look at it. It's cool, because it'd be good for a running trail. Okay.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
The obstacle course, do you know what that is? Is that for adults, kids, anybody, or?
I am assuming it is primarily for youth. With the town projects, we're not directly involved with the selection of them,
Yeah, I know. I just
so
thought, okay.
I don't have more detailed information than
I have to
that.
go check it out when it
You're
gets.
not going to like push people out of the way to get on it.
does the county have
I'd
any
like to go
adult
see it.
obstacle courses?
We do not.
What? No, I'm just kidding.
I think that might need to be rectified in the future.
We may have missed an opportunity because I'm sensing that we would have had a very strong advocate for it.
Yes.
Okay. Do we hear a motion in a
Yes.
second?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
any more discussion on this? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much. Jenny, why don't you come on up? We're going to talk about the execution of supplemental bond resolution, item number 6.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Here, I don't have any obstacle courses or anything to talk about exciting, so. We're before you this morning with a resolution to reallocate prior issued bonds. On October 17th, 2019, the county issued bonds to acquire funding necessary to pay for various capital projects. As part of that process, the board adopted a resolution number 1048-2019, which formally authorized the issuance of bonds in declared categories. of projects for the application of bond proceeds. The county has 18 months from that date to spend the remaining amount of bond money. Bond money is required to remain in those categories. Category examples: education, public safety, public works are the examples at the time of issuance, and that's what's adopted in the original resolution. If the county would like to move the money between those categories, then we have to come back before you and create another resolution. That's what this is doing. From those bonds, and basically those bonds were issued prior to the pandemic, so some of the projects had to halt. So what we're requesting you to do is to adopt this resolution, which would allow us to move money from certain projects and categories, general government, public safety, onto some education projects that has already spent during that 18-month window. So subsequent to the issuance of the bonds, prior to the 18 months from the date of the expenditure. So we had our bond counsel, Mr. Bill Henn and David Gregory, review. They, from McKinnon, Shelton, and Henn, and they prepared the resolution. We had Tim review it for legal sufficiency. So I am requesting that the board move to adopt the resolution to reallocate prior bond proceeds as presented in the resolution.
Well, I think that was a wonderful explanation.
Thank you.
And I want to congratulate you on your appointment as controller. If I'm not mistaken, you might be the first female controller in the history of Carroll County. Thank you very much. I think that brings us up to 4 female administrators in our administration. I think that's a wonderful thing, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
And I'm also thoroughly impressed with being informed that you're doing some reform or revision of how to help people with paying their delinquent taxes, creating a forum. I like the initiative and how progressive you are in thinking that and helping people out. You're a breath of fresh air, and thank you very much.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank the whole board for appointing me to this position. I'm looking forward to working with you guys more.
And with that, I move the Board of Commissioners adopt the resolution to reallocate prior bond proceeds as presented by the bond counsel.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further conversation?
Other than it would have been nice to see the details of what's getting moved to where.
I can tell you that. So it's 2 projects. It's moving from Union Mills, the water wheel or the shaft wheel. I don't have all the details. And the Public Safety Training Center. It's moving from those 2, which general government and public safety are the 2 categories, and it's being moved to education to the career and tech
Okay.
project. So that's where we're moving it from.
Thanks.
Okay.
Question. Okay, any further questions or discussion? Just to let you know, any conversations about forms and stuff is still unclear, and further information will be provided to the public when it's available. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still waiting, aren't we? We are. That's okay. Let's see what we can achieve. Is there anybody out in the hall by chance?
Guys, not to be so efficient this morning.
Well, you told me.
Mike's not here, so
Yeah.
Heat stuff.
anybody else who might be on hold.
So the Visa people aren't here for the next item, and Michael's not here.
Here comes Jim.
Getting
That's
closer.
one.
We just deny them if they're not here and go on.
We're waiting on one more. Okay.
Main presenter.
What's that?
The main presenter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim looks good, but that's not Liz.
Well, I can, but I'm just backup.
Yeah.
I'm in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Relief pitcher.
Roberta, can you let folks know?
We are.
In the meantime, I would suggest we take a minute to go over and look at the fountain. It's just an
Bath
idea.
or something?
It's just an idea. I don't know.
You're more than welcome.
Like to join me at the window to look at the fountain,
You're
please?
more than welcome.
Is it that impressive?
looks really good.
Thank you. Sorry. Cheers to the fountain.
We can go to agendas.
So what we can do is there anything going to be happening right now for open admin? Does anybody have anything?
We could go, we could.
I do have closed minutes I need approval of from
I was going to go look
June,
at the fountain.
June 9th. If we take a look, there's 3 of us in attendance on the June 9th minutes for land acquisition.
That's right. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the closed meeting of June 9th made for land acquisition.
Second.
Okay. I got a motion. I got a second.
Just as a
Any-
point of order, I don't think
Well,
you can
can't
second.
second it.
Because
You weren't
you
here.
weren't attending it.
I'm
I was
sorry,
gonna
now
say,
I
you
wouldn't
weren't
say.
there.
Okay, thank you.
Just want to make
That's
that
why-
clear. You
no,
got
I
it.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for catching that.
I was a bit confused. Okay. I got a motion. I got a second. All in favor? Aye.
No, I
I'll
can't
abstain.
vote, can I?
You should.
Any abstentions?
Should go look at the fountain or something.
2.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. You can go look at the fountain if you want.
Because they weren't here.
Okay, so who do we have here?
Do we have something we can roll
Which item?
with?
Maureen, what are you doing? Are you doing something with
Maureen,
Chris?
Additionally,
Well-
for open admin, I'll be absent again next week. I'll be attending the Maryland State Fire Association
That's right.
convention, which is going to be interesting this year because there's a what could be a very challenging vote on the floor down there, which I guess is a sign of the times, where they are attempting to change the name of the Maryland State Firemen's Association to Maryland State Firefighters Association.
Heard about
It's
that.
been identified that there are 3 female fire chiefs in jurisdictions around the state, and they look upon it as being
We got some people we can just.
just an upgrade, if you will, to the years of tradition. So it's going to be a challenging debate because the folks that are entrenched there are not in agreement with that. So it's going to be interesting to be a part of that debate.
the heritage and culture.
I'll be in the back row, not responding to the debate, but I'll be watching the debate.
It'll be spirited.
difficult.
Yeah, it's tough because when you're steeped with years of tradition, there's a lot to be said for that, but there's also a lot to be said for
Moving forward.
moving forward. So we'll see where that goes, but that starts on Sunday with a memorial service, which is always very moving, to pay tribute to those first responders who are passed away in the last year, and then it goes through Thursday, culminates with a rather large parade down there, which is led by the Westminster Municipal Band.
Every year it is, right?
Yeah,
So MML is this week.
yeah.
That's next week. And
I think
then
MML's done, right?
Yeah, MML wrapped up yesterday.
Did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
because Governor Hogan gave the keynote,
On Tuesday, yeah.
so.
Okay, I think we have enough. We don't have,
I can keep going on about if you want to open admin
Yeah, it's
stuff.
okay.
I mean, I got other stuff if you want. I
we
mean,
could start with.
I can ramble if you'd like.
Let's start with Mr. Ripper.
Ramble, Fred? I can ramble.
Okay,
I know you can.
Okay,
item
Ripper,
10.
why don't you come on up here? Item 10, annual maintenance and support renewal for the Carroll County Public Network.
Morning, Commissioners. I am here today to get approval for the annual maintenance and support to Skyline Technology Services. This maintenance covers what we call all the edge devices. They are the devices at each of the locations that connects them out to the internet. The money is in the fiber budget. The original cost of the equipment was $1,073,550. The maintenance this year still fairly reasonable at $83,346.98. Have any questions?
Maureen, did you have anything to say?
Always the one at the end. Not really. It was just that we did, it is the renewal, and that it is with Skyline, who actually is a term contractor of ours. So, as Mark said, this is for the annual maintenance and support, right?
Right.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
and that's 24/7, so if any of the devices go down at any point in time, they're on it to get them back up and running again, so the connection.
This is for maintenance of the edge devices or replacement?
It cover, if there is an issue with the device, it covers the cost of the,
Okay.
It's just another example of the cost of technology. The maintenance of it is really eats into our budget. There's no way around it. I mean,
I make the motion the Board of Commissioners approve the annual maintenance and support to Skyline Technology Solutions in the amount of $83,346.98 for the Carroll County Public Network equipment.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. This is within our budget. This is not additional funds coming from
It was approved in the budget, yes.
in our,
FY,
yeah.
Yes, FY '22.
So we have already approved it. Okay. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And now let's,
I can do the next one too, Commissioner, if you'd like. Oh, I'm
slow
sorry.
down a second. Let's talk about, and you will,
Okay.
Court Smart Support Services. Maureen, would you like to
Okay,
start?
Thank you. We are requesting your approval for the purchase of the digital recording system support services for the existing system at the court to Court Smart Digital Systems in the amount of $45,889.76. This expenditure is FY23 budget approval, and no additional monies should be needed. And Mark can answer your questions.
And basically, it is the entire system that both the circuit court that we support uses, but also most circuit courts and district courts in the state of Maryland use this. It records all of the cases that come before the courts.
Is there a shared cost here because of the fact that it is state court, or is it all on us?
For the Circuit Court of Maryland, it's all on us. For the district court, we don't have anything to do with it here in Carroll County.
Interesting.
Don't know why.
State law.
It's state law?
Yeah, that we're responsible for supporting
For
a
providing
lot
the
of state
infrastructure.
agencies, the Board of Elections, the Circuit Court, Cooperative Extension.
It's interesting to note.
Yep.
When we just came out of the budget, and we talked a lot about what the state does and what the state doesn't do. And this is one of those things that kind of goes under the radar. We do it all for circuit court when it comes to this, and we get no assistance at all from the state of Maryland.
None that I'm aware of, Commissioner.
Okay. Interesting.
I move the
That's
Board
with
of
all
Commissioners.
jurisdictions. I apologize.
Go ahead.
No.
No, I'm sure it is with all jurisdictions, but it's a
Not-
very important point to be noted.
Yeah.
Thank you for making it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I started once. No, okay. I move the Board of Commissioners approve the purchase of digital recording system support services for the existing system to Court Smart Digital Systems, the amount $45,089.76.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay.
Reluctantly, aye.
No, I got you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. And thanks, Maureen. I know you're not going very far.
No, I'm
But
not.
let's go back to item 4, in the Carroll County Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area Boundary Adjustment.
All right.
Ladies.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for your patience this morning. And here with me today, I have Liz Chateau, who is the Executive Director of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area, as well as a Governing Board member, Kristen McMasters, and also advisory council member James Shriver are here today in support of this boundary amendment. And then Jeff Daggetts, the Director of Recreation and Parks, is here today as well because part of this boundary amendment is dealing with a future project for the county. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Liz to go ahead and also introduce who are not here today, but the other advisory council members as part of Carroll County.
Yes, so thank you all so much. I appreciate this opportunity to give a bit of an update about the Heritage Area. And I noticed that Jack Lyburn, who actually is one of our founding board members, also joined us. And you see on the screen that Jack Lyburn, Kristen McMasters, and Richard Turner from Carroll County all are part of the leadership of our board. And then we also have our advisory committee, which offers technical expertise, and that includes Kathy Beatty from the Historical Society, Linda Eisenberg, Andrea Gerhard, who's with Planning for the City of Westminster, Jim Shriver from Union Mills, who's with us today, and then Bonnie Staub, our tourism director, your tourism director. So we're delighted to have them. So I'm going to quickly give you an overview of our activity in Carroll County, and then Linda and Jeff will describe the amendment to the Heritage Area boundary that's now sought. In late 2020, an impact study was released by the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority, and using 2019 data, this is the annual economic contribution associated with the heart of the Civil War heritage area. And not only is this result impressive, but it's pre-pandemic, so it gives us a good baseline as we resume something closer to normal heritage tourism. If you want to give us a new slide. Grants may be the most high-profile benefit of being included in the boundaries of a certified Maryland heritage area. Being included in our boundaries is the only way that nonprofits and government entities may apply for Maryland Heritage Area grants. And this slide shows the average number of grants applied for and granted, the one on that you see here, to each of Maryland's certified heritage areas between the fiscal years of 2018 and 2022. So you see that our heritage area appears there at the far left with the greatest number of grants applied for and received out of the 13 certified heritage areas. If you continue, thanks. We are proud to say that over $500,000 in grants, including mini grants that we administer locally, have been invested in Carroll County. And keep in mind that these grants require matching dollar-for-dollar non-state investment. The work undertaken by these grants contributes to that impressive impact of jobs created and sustained, tax revenue, and visitor spending in our communities. Now, in addition to grants, another benefit of being in the heritage area is a wide range of technical assistance, and sometimes that is also grant related. We're often able to connect our partners to other sources of funds, grants that we don't necessarily control, but we can help to facilitate. And that's the case with the COVID relief sources you see here. As a heritage area, we recognized that some of our partners were having trouble identifying the relief dollars to which they were entitled to apply. And some of the Carroll County organizations who found their way to successful operating grants from Maryland Humanities and the Nonprofit Recovery Initiative did so with our help, and we see that on the screen. The technical assistance can also relate to public programs. Here's one example from a few years ago, but it's one of my favorites. You see on the screen folks enjoying the Smithsonian traveling exhibition, The Way We Worked. And venues for this exhibition in Maryland were selected by a competitive process wherein potential hosts described their facility and the ways that the theme could also be illustrated with local examples. I got a heads up from the organizers who said, we really want to get this into Carroll County. We hope to have a Carroll County applicant. So I thought immediately of the Farm Museum, knowing that it had the capacity to host the Smithsonian exhibit and to share many stories of local industry and agriculture. The Farm Museum was a fantastic venue, and not only that, but satellite programs existed in exhibits all throughout the county at places like the Historical Society and Union Mills and more. And you may not know it, but I'm a big fan of the little-known story of the worm seed industry in Carroll County, and that got a big feature in this program. Just one more example of technical assistance. We do offer a number of opportunities for training and professional development to help equip our partners to advance their missions. And this is one example from last year. It was aimed at encouraging virtual engagement during the pandemic, and the 3 nonprofits that we featured had experienced actual growth when they embraced digital programming. So one found their gift shop sales soared, another experienced heightened audience engagement. The National Museum of Civil War Medicine leveraged online programming to grow their membership to unprecedented numbers. That's an example, and we're going to be hosting an upcoming virtual program soon. John Marks from the Association of State and Local History is going to be sharing a new communications toolbox, especially but not exclusively for history organizations. So that's another opportunity for our partners. There isn't any charge, and we hope that lots of our Carroll County folks will participate. It's happening on July 20th. And thank you. So marketing is another high impact benefit of being in the heritage area. We implement destination marketing each year with the help of our DMOs in each of the counties that we serve. The DMOs also help us with our ongoing management, and we thank Carroll County very much for your part in that. Branded content campaigns, sometimes referred to as native advertising, have been proven to be very effective. And here you see some excerpts from our spring 2022 campaign this year, where we played on the Choose Your Own Adventure theme. And in outlets like Philly Magazine, Baltimore Magazine, WTOP, and also the popular Maryland Road Trips, we encouraged folks to explore old Main Streets Byway, get out in nature, explore our agriculture and farm markets, play outdoor games and puzzles like the Civil War Geo Trail, and explore our lesser-known state battlefield at South Mountain. This year, we also added a Spanish language radio campaign as we're starting to reach out to one of the fastest growing segments of the lucrative travel market. And we could not do this without the support of Carroll County Tourism and Economic Development. Keep going. Our online learning portal features adaptable lesson plans, including this one that was designed with Union Mills in mind. This learning portal is linked to national and state learning standards. The Union Mills lesson plan stresses critical thinking and encouraging meaningful engagement with concepts like continuity, sequencing of events, change, the ability to interpret and communicate complex ideas clearly and coherently. Of course, our online education portal was very popular when virtual learning reigned, but we do hope that more groups are going to be able to use these lessons as pre-visit or post-visit activities when they actually come to the area. And the next slide there is just a planner that exists online as well to help with student travel planning. And one more. So we recently adopted a new strategic plan that will activate this summer. Goals in the area of tourism product development, building partnership, and regional identity provide lots of ways for our Carroll County partners to find a role in moving the plan forward. And in fact, local listening sessions, interviews, and focus groups with Carroll County partners were instrumental in pulling this together. And you'll be able to find it on our website next week, but you see here the cover and an excerpt I pulled showing Bogger's Market image that illustrates the power of place right here in Carroll County. And the next one, so here you see a volunteer at the Newcomer House, where we operate a visitor center. This is near Antietam Battlefield, and volunteers like the one you see here tell visitors how to extend their travels throughout the heritage area. We keep Carroll County visitor guides and brochures for the attractions here in stock, and since many people who stop there are visiting a bucket list of battlefields, we make sure they know where to stay and what to do here in Carroll County as essential to learning the whole story of Gettysburg invasion and retreat. And in the light and the dark pink areas you see here, these are our current boundaries. Most of Maryland's 12 heritage areas have boundaries that appear much like the corridors you see in Carroll and the northern parts of Frederick and Washington. I'll note that all the municipalities in Carroll County are included. The larger swaths that you see to the south include our 3 battlefields, Monocacy, Antietam, and South Mountain. We would like to expand one of the corridors here in Carroll County to maximize potential benefit to the county. And to do that, we need a letter. And I am going to turn this over now to Linda and to Jeff to tell you a little bit more about what we're seeking.
Yep. Thank you so much, Liz. I appreciate that. So I've been working with Jeff, Liz, and our Carroll County advisory members over the last few months talking about a boundary amendment. The administrative boundary amendment would be to expand the heritage area in Carroll County slightly along the east side of Route 194 from Tawnytown municipal limit to the Pennsylvania line. So that's about a 4-mile stretch, relatively. This change involves widening the corridor to accommodate 2 resources that are partially within the boundary now. One is the abandoned rail line, and the other is the historic Rain Dollar Marine Farm. And I will show you maps coming up. So this amendment would support the creation of the Northwest Area Trail, and that's something that Jeff has been working on for quite some time, and that's a really important linkage for tourism, not only for Tawnytown and Carroll County, but also links us to the greater Gettysburg area to attract some of that tourism dollars from Pennsylvania and into Maryland. It supports, as I said, the historic Rain Dollar Marine Farm as a park, and these attractions will facilitate connections, as I said, to downtown Tawnytown, link it to Littlestown, Pennsylvania, and greater Gettysburg. And this will facilitate a one-of-a-kind destination for not only our heritage area, but also the region as a whole. We don't have anything like that currently. Introduces visitors to the transition from the city of Tawnytown to the county's pristine countryside, where we have, as you know, more than 75,000 acres of preserved land, especially in this northwestern region of Carroll County. And it really creates an evocative landscape of what the area must have looked like during the Civil War troop movements, and that's the main corridors along our roads in Carroll County and why Carroll County was pulled into the heritage area. So some justification for the boundary amendment is the county purchased a 145-acre parcel for a future regional park in 2019. The land was acquired due to no county parks in the upper northwest area of the county. The county's been planning a future rail trail to connect, as I said, Tawnytown to Littlestown. And the rail corridor, as it currently stands, obviously bisects that 145-acre parcel, so we wanted to be able to capture the entire portion of the parcel as well. Both projects have, as I said, potential to provide recreational opportunities to both county and non-county residents and non-state residents as well. And this adjustment creates potential for additional grant funding through the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. As Liz showed in the earlier slides, Carroll County has participated with grants for many years, and the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area is one of the highest grant recipients of all the heritage areas in the state of Maryland. So here's the boundary amendment adjustment. Our current boundary for Tawnytown, Carroll County, 194 is that turquoise boundary. That's the existing boundary line. As you can see, the Northwest Trail is very straight through here, and it kind of the actual Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area boundary meanders in and out of this trail itself. So in order to incorporate the entirety of the Northwest Trail, we are suggesting an increase to the boundary of 1,500 feet to the southeast of the existing Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area boundary along 194, and then a little notch out to incorporate the park as well. And this map just shows the entirety of this section with the rest of the Carroll County Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area boundaries. So the next steps, planning has already prepared a letter outlining the administrative boundary amendment. We've prepared the maps. And what we're asking for you all today to do is to have a letter of support either from the Carroll County Board of Commissioners, if you want to have all of you sign on it, or just the president of the board, whichever you choose. But I've also prepared a letter for your review and signature to forward on with the other letter for the request for the boundary amendment as well as the maps. So the timing would be to submit this to the Maryland Heritage Area Authority by June 23rd. And they have a meeting July 14th for the acceptance of the amendment. And we'd like to do this administratively instead of programmatically. Programmatically is a much bigger hurdle for all of us, and would be better if we could just do this because, as you can tell, it's a very slight adjustment to the current boundary. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. And then Jeff Dagitz is here also to answer any questions as well.
Hello again. Really, they've said most of it, but I'm going to say one of the most important things. I really want to thank Liz and Linda for their support and recognition of this opportunity. We've got two very exciting projects that potentially could benefit from support from this grant. We have the Rail Trail project, and those efforts have been ongoing. And we also have the Rhine-Dollar Maring Farm, which was purchased back in 2019. We have funding in this year's approved capital budget to do a master plan for that property. So as far as what's going to be on there, we're not sure yet. We need to go through that public meeting process, and there'll be a number of ideas that are entertained and discussed there. But because of the proximity to Pennsylvania, there is definitely an opportunity to have some tourism impact here and bring people in and use this property. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the possibility of another pot of money that we may be able to tap into in addition to county funds and state funds. So I think a lot of goals can be accomplished by this. And again, thanks to both of these ladies for their assistance, and would appreciate the support of the board with the administrative adjustment.
Love using other people's money.
Yep.
So that's always a good thing. You said evocative landscape. I think you got a quarter for using a big word today. I don't know.
Thank you.
The Smithsonian displays are awesome. I went up to Union Mills and seen that one. My cousin is a curator in the Center for Folk Life at the Smithsonian.
Awesome.
And so it's just really cool stuff. I love it. I think this is just a win-win situation. We're being proactive in expanding, our historical footprint. So, yeah.
So it's near and dear to me, of course, because it's up there where it is. Why 1,500 feet?
Because the intent of Carroll County's boundaries is to be where the troop movements were from the Civil War, and so we didn't want to go beyond the 1,500 feet. Was just enough to capture without compromising the integrity of the corridor itself, to capture that rail trail and the Rhine-Dollar. How do you pronounce it?
Rhine-Dollar.
Rhine-Dollar Maring.
That's a entrenched name in Tawnytown, so
Okay,
get it right.
Rhine-Dollar. I will keep them.
Yeah.
So to be able to capture that without having such a big amendment that it would really be considered then more than administrative adjustment, a programmatic adjustment. We didn't want to venture into that territory. It's a whole new can of worms. And this really is very justifiable, as you can tell from the map.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that trail project, I look forward to that. I won't see it as a sitting commissioner, of course, but I look forward to what that brings, because I think that's going to be
You and me
amazing
both.
up there. It's going to be
All of
excellent.
us.
So I would like to see the letter come from the entire board.
Sure.
I think it's got a little bit more teeth to it, especially since it's my district. So I'd like to see,
100%.
just so that we get that overall support.
I will send that up to you today.
Having done the tour of that property when we first acquired it, I was thoroughly impressed. I think it's going to be one of the biggest assets to the county for walking, and the addition of this for grant funding is a tremendous help. I want to thank all the members of our staff who are involved in this. I think Carroll County has a tremendous footprint in this organization. I'm a member of it. I received, I believe it's called the Roll Call publication, nerdy publication, but I love it.
some extras.
And I was so impressed with the fact that you guys took the time to develop a new strategic plan. And I think in light of a couple years ago, your facility was assaulted with vandalism, that the monument up the hill.
Up there,
Yeah, and I think that was part of some ignorance of people not truly understanding what your organization is. I think you all taking this initiative will clarify that and realize this is educational, helpful for everyone. I just cannot say enough good things about you and your organization, all the volunteers involved, and how big of a financial impact this means for our county. There's lots of other nerdy people out there that love history, and guess what? They like to travel and do site destinations, whether it's a couple-day trip or just a day trip. They spend money. On Memorial Day weekend, I visited both the Gettysburg and Tatum cemeteries. I ran into two gentlemen who flew here from Oregon just to visit those battlefields. And that's just a small touch of what's actually going on out there. There's a very devoted crowd of people out there who love this stuff as well as I do. And I just want to praise you all. And on one last note, when I was in the Antietam battlefield, I noticed how weathered the tombstones are. And if there's any way we could try to lobby the federal government, try to get some rehabilitation of those tombstones and new ones, I'd be more than happy to jump on board with you guys and help memorialize those soldiers. I think some of the grave sites have just not been cared for enough, and erosion is deteriorating them. So please put that on your
Take
radar.
that message to the superintendent.
And I'd love to help you all out. Thank you. Praise to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I'd like to make the motion that the Board of Commissioners send a letter of support for this request.
A motion second. Any other discussion? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Okay, let's move on to Mike Robinson, Director of Department of Fire EMS. Increased fuel cost supplemental budget request. You ready or no? Oh,
Do you want to do the next one then?
Yeah, I'll do,
can you
Do
do
the
the
med vault?
med vault storage?
yes, I'll do the
Okay.
Knox boxes.
Come on down again, Maureen. Thank you.
So, Maureen, what do you have to say to start this one off?
So we're doing number 8.
We're doing number 8.
Again.
Yes.
That's the fuel cost.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, the next
Yeah.
one. The med
Next
vault.
one, item number,
Purchase of the med vault storage
Yes.
boxes.
Yep.
Okay, the Carroll County Department of Fire EMS solicited a quotation from Knox Company as a single source vendor to provide 22 large med vault narcotic storage boxes for the county's ambulances. We request your approval to purchase these boxes from Knox Company in the amount of $44,728.96. This has budget approval and no additional funds should be needed. And I'll turn it over to Michael for your questions.
yes, and I'd like to recognize our EMS officer, Michael Stoner, who's also here. One of our initiatives has been to standardize the storage of narcotics. We're obviously under federal law through the DEA and with our 13 different volunteer departments that are running EMS. We wanted to standardize technology they already have that's obsolete. What we're going to do with this funding, we're going to purchase 22 new storage cabinets, which will accommodate our first line and reserve ambulances, and essentially this will be online, so every time someone opens a med vault who will have to be a licensed paramedic, we'll be able to track that. So this will put us consistent with all federal regulations and allow us that tracking mechanism, and should in the remote case we have something that turns up missing or we have to account for, this system will allow us to do that. We're also going to repurpose the older units that we have. We'll be sending them back to be retrofitted, and we'll be able to use them in our new vehicles when they arrive.
Which we hope is next Thursday or something. Soon. I make the motion we approve the purchase of 22 MedVault narcotic storage boxes from Knox Company, $44,728.96.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move back. I think we're ready to talk about the increased fuel cost supplemental budget request.
You could do that, can't you?
Cece Visa?
Just
This is a request that was made through the Carroll County Volunteer Emergency Services Association. And Richard Coons, their liaison, is here. They've done a very good job of accounting for the excess fuel costs, as everyone's obviously aware. We've seen a significant spike in the costs, and this will offset from the current fiscal year the additional monies that have been expended already by the member companies of CC Visa. So the total amount in the supplemental request is $76,540, which would be used to cover the shortage. This also will lessen the impact of the limited fundraising over the last 2 years as a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I don't know if Richard has anything you want to add to that.
No, that pretty much covers it. It's just mostly the fuel cost that has been increased from the gas price that we're all paying. So, and that's where they're feeling the crunch based on budgets that were made long before this crunch started.
I mean, the biggest challenge for me is this is going to be an ongoing issue. If the fuel prices continue to go up the way the trends look like they're going to be going up, are you going to be coming back to us for an additional $76,000? And is analysis kind of being done on how much had been used where you got to a 0 point to where we are now? So when should we expect the next tranche of money to be requested?
One of the things I'm going to be doing is meeting with the chiefs and presidents to see if we can initiate some conservation efforts. The biggest issue right now with diesel, over $6 a gallon, the question will be, are there some emergency responses that we could take a smaller utility vehicle to versus a fire engine or a ladder truck? Obviously, for legitimate fires, we can't do that. So we're going to be evaluating that. Also, those that are using vehicles for certain other things, for travel purposes and even more personalized use, we're going to be looking at how can we reel in on that from a conservation perspective, which just makes sense given the cost, and everybody's doing that across the board.
However, without taking any shortcuts on safety.
Absolutely. We're not going to compromise that. But.
So
my only reservation here is, well, I got a couple things, but I want to be mindful here too, because I've been on that side of the table and know that this is huge. But I also know that purchasing is interesting because companies have long-term contracts with different vendors, etc. So I am hopeful that somebody is trying to get to a point where 4, 5, 6 companies can get one vendor. And you know, I get the fact, and Richard, with all due respect, I've been there, you know this. But you know, before when this was talked about, well, you know, they've bought raffle tickets from us for 15 years, so we got to honor that. Well, I hate to say it, but I think that ship is either sailing or has sailed. So I'm hopeful that we're making every attempt that we can, because this isn't going away, to try to get a better I mean, are we purchasing? Are we getting fuel from the county? Because the county does a good job of getting fuel man or whatever. So that's one of the things that I have.
We looked at doing that in this FY23, but we met a lot of resistance with that. We're absolutely going to revisit that. And our goal would be to have one single fuel vendor, same as the county, at the county's using their purchasing capabilities, and that would definitely reel in on that. So that's one of our top initiatives for FY24, that we can hopefully work out all of the dynamics between now and then. And it becomes a simple matter of economics.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse. That's the problem.
Yes.
This is a temporary thing, and this appears to be a temporary fix, which is not in the cards right now. So a hard look, and perhaps some sacrifices are going to have to be made here. So that's, I don't want to not give the extra because I know it's needed, but something's got to give here.
You know, last night I brought it up. I guess you know, in the past we give money to CC Visa. We have no accountability where it goes. Is this going to be accounted for? We're going to see where this money goes to which fire departments, and or is it 5,000 across the board? How's it going to be allocated?
Each department submitted their budget amount versus what they've actually spent during the fiscal year. So those departments, the money will go directly to them based on that amount.
So they submitted that to the county?
Submitted that into, yes.
To the county, not CC Visa?
Sure, yes.
Okay.
You know, the discussion we had last night with ESAC, and was pointed out a few times, just because the resources aren't there doesn't mean the requirements don't exist. And these requirements exist, again, not to take safety and compromise it in any fashion. But it is difficult to manage these resources. I mean, there's a reluctance in that, but I think, like Commissioner Wance said, it doesn't mean we're not going to support because we cannot compromise, you know, this. But there's a lot of work that still needs to be done.
So I would assume this comes out of reserve for contingencies, or what are we doing here? There's no detail here.
I know. Did you? There she is, just in time delivery.
ESP.
Yes.
Wow.
So there is no transfer required. When we put together the 22 budget, we put together a full match for a grant for the SCBA for Westminster. They ended up not utilizing the full amount of that grant, so there was money sitting there. We were hoping to fall to fund balance, but you can utilize it for this purpose, so no transfers required.
So hope as a course of action actually worked. Wow.
I've said that a couple times.
Wow.
Whatever.
I will never move the budget department farther away from this room than they are now.
No kidding.
All right, that makes some sense, and that's good then. Okay.
Just curious though, how much money is in that?
So it's right around $100,000. We had budgeted, I believe it was $303,000. They ended up needing $204 for
Okay.
their, because they got more grant money than we thought they would.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, it makes it more palatable, you know. So.
I have to say, like Commissioner Wance has already brought up, the companies have to come together and get a single source for this fuel, so to save money. And since we're the one paying the bill, I don't understand the pushback. I don't.
Well, one of the things over the years, as Commissioner Rance would know, is that they've gone with local vendors because at 3 a.m. when they're sitting in a barn fire for 12 hours, that local vendor picks up the phone and shows up with a truck and pumps right into the to the back of the fire truck. So that's one of the other driving factors towards the vendors that they have selected.
All right, but I mean, if you write the contract that says that that's what happens, and that's what happens no matter what vendor you have. And I understand the loyalty and so forth, but it comes down to we're paying the bills. I'll let it go there.
No, it's a valid point, and as we continue to see these bumps in the roads of the transformation here, if you will, these are things that we're going to have to try to get together on, and I think we will. There's no question about it. But this is one of those things that sort of got overlooked, and probably would have been overlooked even to this point, except that now fuel was getting to the absurd level, and it's not going to stop. So, I know.
We're already doing that with electricity, with propane, with water, sewer,
Right.
pest control. So we've started an initiative. It's just we want to be sure we can manage that. So next year, one of the goals will be taking over the gasoline and diesel and centralizing that.
Okay.
All right, well, they need fuel, so I'm going to make the motion that we approve the supplemental funding, now that we've got the explanation from budget, of $76,540 to CC Visa for FY22.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
good discussion.
Hey, Mike, are you in the building today?
Yes, sir.
Stoner.
I can be if you need me to.
I'll text you. All right, thanks.
Are we ready for Detention center cameras?
Does not look like. You want to do it? Okay, good.
Okay. Item number 9.
Yes, Vicki McDonald couldn't be here today, so Sixton and I can handle it. We are requesting your approval to award the replacement and installation of security cameras to Marathon Technology Solutions in the amount of $52,857.02. This award is being made by way of a competitively bid county term contract. The purchase amount is within the adopted budget. No additional funds should be necessary. And if you have any questions about the installation, I'm sure Sixton can answer your questions.
Yeah, so these are the cameras that were identified through the FY22 budget year as being end of life. So this is just the regular replacement cycle that we have these devices on, and they're throughout the facility.
We're getting state-of-the-art cameras that you can
Yes.
actually see stuff with.
Exactly.
You know, you see, I mean, not here, but you see some security cameras, it's so grainy, you know, you couldn't tell who was standing there. But, you know, I'm just.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The one in Arkansas or wherever it was?
What is that? I don't know.
Well, these aren't at a convenience store or gas pump.
Associated software, etc. with
So
this?
it's using the existing software, the existing Genetec system that we have. So it's just replacing the device in Genetec with the new one.
Cool, okay.
So there's no additional licensing or anything like that that has to
Okay.
go along with that.
I'll move the Board of Commissioners approve the purchase of replacement and installation of security cameras to Marathon Technology Solutions Incorporated in amount of $52,857.02.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
2 cents gets me, but
Maureen, I think you get to stay up here because we're going to go into letter of intent approval to order roof supplies against the FY23 budget for planned replacement of Skytech's FBO roof.
Yes, we are here to request your approval to issue Garland DBS a letter of intent to order the supplies and materials needed to rehabilitate the roof at the FBO building at the airport at an estimated cost of $142,983. Omni Partners awarded Garland DBS a contract which was competitively bid. This letter of intent will allow Garland to order the needed supplies before another price increase goes into effect, which will save the county approximately $6,000. This amount was requested in the FY23 budget from the Airport Enterprise Fund, and no additional funds should be necessary. And if you have any questions about the roof, I'm sure that Mark could answer your questions.
What's the FBO building?
It's called, it's short for Fixed Base Operators. In the airport business, we like our acronyms. But it's basically the main building at the airport where they do their maintenance and they shepherd the aircraft around and so on and so forth.
That's what I have.
It's our main public building at the airport.
Gotcha. All right.
Got to have a roof.
Absolutely, sir.
Money's allocated, and so let's execute it.
So I'll make the motion, the Office of Procurement issue a letter of intent to Garland, especially if they're going to save $6,000, for the purchase of roofing materials. The estimated cost of $142,983.
Second.
I got a motion in a couple of seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you,
Mark.
Commissioners.
That was pretty easy.
Hey, Mark, just for point of reference, I had a chance to tour the Easton Airport last week.
Yes, sir.
With Mako. Incredible facility, and I'm hopeful that you guys regionally look at one another and see what everybody else is doing.
I've been there before, yes. It
I'm
is
sure
a
you
nice
have.
airport. Yes, sir.
Even got to go up in the tower.
Oh, nice.
Which is, I couldn't believe in today's security, but they thought I looked honest, so I went up in the tower.
You didn't cause any planes to crash, did you?
So I went up in the tower.
We'll leave it at that.
Thank you again.
Thanks, Maureen.
You're welcome.
Okay, purchase of replacement UV light channel. for South Carroll wastewater treatment plant. Gary, Andy. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is really important stuff.
Yes.
The Office of Procurement in cooperation with the Bureau of Utilities requests your approval to award a contract for the purchase of a replacement UV light channel for the South Carroll wastewater treatment plant to Hayward, Inc. in the amount of $25,800. This award will be made via a single source vendor, and the amount is within the adopted budget, and no additional funds will be necessary.
Gentlemen, the South Carroll wastewater treatment plant is one of 3 small treatment plants that we currently operate throughout the county. It processes waste flow from South Carroll High School, Winfield Elementary School, and the Winfield Fire Station. The plant has provided good service life over the years. It was brought online in 1991, and obviously many of the parts are at the end of their service life at this point in time. The existing UV light channel is one of these. The unit is now obsolete, and the manufacturer no longer provides spare parts or support for the device. UV light exposure is the final step in the wastewater treatment process at the South Carroll facility. Exposure to UV light renders any remaining microorganisms in the wastewater flow sterile prior to their release into the natural environment. For this plant, it is the Piney Run Stream Channel. The new light channel will be provided by the same manufacturer as the original unit, and it should fit seamlessly into the existing footprint at the South Carroll facility. So installation should work very nicely for us. Our wastewater treatment staff will do the installation work, and support. The startup support will be provided by Hayward, Inc. So if we have any issues with the startup itself, there is a support for that built into this contract.
Is that why it was single-sourced? Because...
That is correct.
Okay. Are there others that are out there that could fit in the same, or would things have to be...
Not that we were aware of.
Yeah.
It's very the South Carroll plant is a very small plant, very
Right.
tight space. So
Right.
so the selling point for us was the same footprint.
Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Wachter, I want to thank you for giving me the tour of that facility when I first became commissioner. I must admit my ignorance. I had no idea that UV light was used in the process. It seems so simplistic and environmentally safe. I was just amazed. So this is a worthwhile investment. So thank you for the education on that and informing the public as well. I move that the Board of Commissioners award a contract for the purchase of a replacement UV light channel for the South Carroll wastewater treatment plant to Hayward, Inc. in the amount of $25,800.
Second.
Excuse me. Okay, I have a motion. I have a second.
I have a question first.
And I have a question over here.
How long is the UV light channel? How long?
How many
Because
feet long?
say it again.
How many feet
Yeah,
long?
yeah. How many feet? Yeah.
This one I believe is 4 to 6 feet long.
Is that all it takes to kill? I'm just curious how long it takes for the water to run under to kill all the stuff.
It's a pretty quick process.
Yeah. All right.
It's pretty amazing. You ought to do a tour. Don't drink the water, though.
No. All right. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion, second. Any other discussion, questions? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you. Okay, now let's talk about replacing bridge number, oh boy. CL Tech 245 Shepherd's Mill Road over Little Pipe Creek.
The Office of Procurement, in conjunction with the Bureau of Engineering, requests your approval to award a contract to Kinsley Construction Incorporated in the amount of $2,113,665. The bid was advertised. The Bureau of Office of Procurement received 2 bids, one from Kinsley Construction and one from Kibler Construction. Kinsley Construction was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. The project is for the replacement of Bridge CL 245, which carries Shepherd's Mill Road over Little Pipe Creek, just located south of the intersection of Maryland 75 and Shepherd's Mill Road. The amount is within the adopted budget. No additional funds are necessary.
Good morning. Shepherd's Mill structure was built in 1965 for the State Highway Administration. Carroll County acquired that structure in the early 2000s as part of the Shepherd's Mill Road project. The structure is currently rated as poor and is on an annual inspection cycle due to that poor rating. This project is part of the Federal Aid Bridge Program and is eligible for the 80% reimbursement for the construction, the cost of the construction. The project has 180 working days and is expected to take approximately 1 year to complete. We've got to remove the old structure, put in all new structure, and put a new deck on there. We have already met with the town of Union Bridge and Lehigh prior to bidding, and we'll be meeting with them, have additional partnering meetings with them and the contractor once we get finished all the contractual paperwork and everything like that with the state. So we also are going to meet with the contractor to determine material availability so that we can make sure we don't start and then have to wait for something that is on a slow boat from somewhere or, you know, wherever it's coming from. So Kinsley has I'm sorry.
I might add, Mr. Lenochin, thanks for the tour of this, and I appreciate you working very closely with Lehigh. This is in my district, and the citizens in downtown are very much concerned about the diversion of traffic because there's so much heavy traffic in that area from the equipment they run. So keep them posted and work out a good plan. And also, please, as much as possible, keep the citizens out there informed, because the less they know, the more phone calls I'll get on this.
Yeah, we've already worked with Lehigh. They're already working with their contractors, develop an alternate travel route for their trucks, so that all that should be coordinated. And we, as I said, we met with the town, and we'll be meeting with the town and the citizens again.
Thank you very much.
You said 85% reimbursed?
80%, 80-20.
So it's 80% of that 2.1 million we're going to get reimbursed?
Yes, about 1.69.
Okay. I like that better.
Yes.
How long is this bridge in feet? Because anything under 20 feet is our responsibility. Anything over is somebody else's, isn't it?
We're about 105 foot.
So this is our responsibility?
No. No, that's why they're paying the 80%.
Oh, okay.
And we have a picture on the screen.
There you go. All right.
And you said this is rated poor. How many other bridges do we have in the county that are rated poor?
We have 9, including this.
Okay.
The money, I'm sorry.
Oh,
The
please.
money the federal government is putting out now for bridge reconstruction, is that where part of this money is coming from, or are we applying for that as much as possible?
We will be looking into that. We've talked with the state, and the last thing we heard from the state was they didn't know what they were doing with that, whether they're going to allow the locals to participate with them. So we are looking at that. We don't know what the minimum project sizes are. We do have most of these 9 already programmed within the current funding stream. And we're pushing the 2, our most recent 2, with the state right now to try. They're having some contractual issues with consultants and design, so we're working with them to try and move that along. So
There's a little bridge down on the shore called the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is probably going to get a lot of attention.
That's a little bridge?
Till it gets filtered down to our level. Who knows?
there is a pot of money that only the locals are eligible for, not the states, but we have not seen the details on that yet.
Seems like it's a front page of the paper every day. About that. Okay.
Any more, or?
I'm good.
All right, well, then I move that the Board of Commissioners award a contract for Shepherd's Mill Road over Little Pipe Creek to Kinsley Construction, Inc. in the amount of $2,113,665.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any more discussion or questions on this? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now let's talk about Bridge Program Manager.
The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Bureau of Engineering, requests your approval to award a contract to Wilson T. Ballard in the amount not to exceed $134,000 for the Bridge Program Manager. The award will be made from a previously competitively bid term contract that was awarded to Wilson T. Ballard. The funds are within the adopted 2023 fiscal year budget, and no additional funds will be necessary.
So this contractual Maryland professional licensed engineer will continue to assist the Bureau of Engineering with management of our bridge program and shepherding these deficient bridges through the bridge program. We estimate, based on the current allotted funding, this contractual engineer will work 2 days a week for us. They will continue to review design plans for structural replacement, manage projects through the state and federal systems, manage the required documentation for federal funding, which is very cumbersome. Review our annual and biannual structural inspection reports so that when we get a letter of concern, we can move quickly on addressing those, and develop structural maintenance and rehabilitation plans so we can continue to maintain our structures. We have a good bit of experience as a staff person has been on site for the last 2 years for us. And as was mentioned, we will adjust the work hours based on the workload and not to exceed the $134,000, which is in the FY23 budget.
Someone we could have an internal position if we paid enough or whatever to put someone in here, or just someone that we just need 2 days a week, and that's why we're doing it this way.
There's plenty of work for a full-time position.
So we could, if, all right, are we looking for a full-time position?
We have not. We were lucky to get the 2 days in the operating budget for 2 days a week.
So we're not looking for a full-time position because of funding?
Currently do not have one advertised, no.
Because of funding?
Yes.
Okay.
The competitive salaries for something like this would probably be $300,000 to $400,000. I mean, is that?
We're seeing.
Swag.
I just saw this morning some of the project managers on our contractual inspections. The state used to cap them at $80 an hour.
Mhm.
They're now like $83 an hour that they're paying actual rates.
Okay.
So then you have to add everything else on top of that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's expensive.
it is expensive.
Okay.
We're seeing all our consultant rates,
Right.
you know, they're paying a lot more to
Everything's
keep
going up.
folks.
Well, I mean, outsourcing, is the way to go when you can't afford, type of work. So
This process has worked well for us. Definitely getting, a lot of work in 2 days.
That looks
Okay.
like the Monocacy.
Okay, is this the actual bridge that's on this
No,
video?
I'm a Ford.
Okay, I'm thinking, why are we showing a different bridge?
I have no control.
Nice kayak in there.
Swami's playing with his
It's a good video, but I was going to say, it didn't look like the picture from above.
okay.
All right, I make the motion, we authorize the DPW to utilize the term contract with Wilson T. Ballard for the contractual bridge program manager, in the amount not to exceed $134,000 for 2023.
We can give them a $6,000 raise.
Yeah, almost did.
Second.
I got a motion. I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's talk about FY23 pavement testing and rehab recommendations.
The Office of Procurement, in cooperation with the Bureau of Engineering, requests your approval to use the existing bid term contract with Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions Incorporated to evaluate and provide pavement testing and rehabilitation recommendations for approximately 38 miles of roadways in the amount of $110,594.91. This amount is within the adopted FY23 budget, and no additional funds will be necessary.
So we'll be performing testing on the roadways that are part of our FY23 paving roadways. The consultant will be doing a visual condition survey, non-destructive testing, pavement coring, material sampling, and subgrade soil classification. They will do laboratory testing of subgrade soils when needed and providing a final report for our recommendations for our FY23 pavement rehabilitation program. We received 2 proposals from our term contractors, and Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions was the lowest proposal. We've used them for several years for the same service, and we hope to have the report sometime in November.
So are these 38 miles of roadway, you know which ones they are, or do you just randomly, based on the amount of time that they've been paved or aging or whatever? What goes into that?
So we have an asset management system that every 2 years we go out and review the roadways, and within that system they're rated based on their pavement condition index and their structural index, and they're programmed so that we repair the ones that haven't gotten too far and that we do some mill and patch, we'll do some reclamation. So we do a portion of the worst ones, we do some that we want to catch before, we do some that may just get a smooth seal, some that may just get patching. So that asset management program identifies where these roadways in which year. Now we do adjust them if we have a need somewhere, but that is our planning, and it also tells us how far behind we are also.
Okay. That was the next question, whether you drop back and punt if you've identified something else that needs a little bit more priority based on citizen outreach or what have you, because I got one of those up there right now.
Yes.
That's a gravel though, so whatever. We're aware of that one. So
Yeah, the one thing the software does not do is we find some benefit and cost effectiveness if we group a bunch of roadways. So we'll look in an area in the next 5 years where we are, and if we can get a group of roadways in that one area done, then we'll do that so that we can get some cost effectiveness out of
Clustering,
that.
so to speak.
Yes.
Doug, did you want to share?
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. So just wanted to add in, and we work closely with Chris. When we get customer concerns in any one area on particular roads, we forward those over to the Bureau of Engineering, and then as they get the analysis in, we certainly look at that. We do share with them. We're all faced with the challenge. Obviously, we were hoping for more of our revenue funds to come back this year to bolster our roads programs. That did not occur in the fashion we were all hoping for, but we're going to continue to maintain them with that same goal that you all have to keep them safe and operational throughout the county, best we can do.
Do you want to ask your concrete road question?
Okay.
One of the things, again, like Commissioner Wentz shared, getting community outreach to us about roads. We get it, I think, probably in all of our communities. And, I usually push it over to Doug or to you, and you answer, well, here's the priority, here's where it's at. I think maybe getting a tutorial on that could, at least I know, help me say, hey, this is where we're at, and this is the priority, and whether you put it right there on your page saying, hey, this is where we are, so I know where to reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I apologize, just not to inconvenience you, where I can then respond easier. So
Yeah, currently, as you talked earlier about fuel costs, we're looking at this year's projects and next year's, and that's a moving target as we're seeing these asphalt prices increase.
Okay.
Well, since you brought that up, I have to ask the question then. Have we looked at other things besides asphalt to pay with, in other words, concrete? Because as asphalt prices increase, one of the reasons we don't use concrete, my guess, is because it's expensive concrete. But as asphalt prices increase, are they getting close to the price of concrete? And if it would be feasible to use concrete instead of asphalt on those roadways, because I'm sure a lot of additional work would have to be done.
We actually talked about that last week in the staff meeting about where that tipping point is. Right. The state used to use a lot of concrete, and if when those of 140 before it was rehabbed, you drive over that asphalt and thump over all the joints. So I don't think we're there yet. Asphalt works well in the high volume, traffic areas such as the interstates because of, some of those. Concrete. Yes, I'm sorry. So we are looking at that. I don't know where that number is at this point. I don't think we are there yet. Especially for our lower volume roadways. You can put down a lot of asphalt in a day.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, it cools down and traffic can go back on it. Concrete takes a longer time to dry. So, but we've got a lot of concrete in Union Bridge. So,
as fuel prices go up, it's something to keep an eye on.
Yes, it is. We are looking at that. Staff looked at me kind of funny the other day when I said, well, we need to start thinking of where that tipping point is.
Yeah, I know you all have talked a lot about fuel this morning. That's something within DPW, obviously having fleet management. Reed Oliver, our bureau chief there, keeps a tight ear to it, and just briefed me yesterday that some of the forecasts that he's hearing could put us up another $1.20 over where we are right now. By end of July or early August. So it's very alarming to us because in the projects that Chris is talking about, if we look at asphalt escalators, you could be talking $1 million when you include all the projects just by escalating $1.20 in that premium. It's not to shock anyone or scare you, but it's our job to keep you all informed, and we are looking at that each and every day.
Yeah, the pricing of the Ag Center parking lot basically doubled, from the time we started talking about it earlier this year to now.
And we're just, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
And we're just 2 weeks away from starting the implementation of our next budget, and I'm so concerned about the inflation blowing everything out of the water. But before we wrap up on this, I just want to publicly thank you, Bureau Chief Lenochin. Since I've been in office, you have been an absolutely tremendous asset to myself along with my colleagues. You gave me a tour of all the bridges that need repair in my district. You've taken me out to the culverts. You showed me how they're numbering them all. And I just hope that the next individuals that sit in these seats utilize the resource and knowledge that all of you guys have, and ladies and the staff, to help us execute our jobs. So I just can't say enough good things about you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The bad part is when you took him out, you brought him back. No, I'm just kidding.
Second.
I just had to throw that in, sorry.
That was perfect.
Okay. I'll move the Board of Commissioners approve the Department of Public Works to use the term contract with Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions, Incorporated, in the amount of $110,594.91.
Second.
Got a motion, I got a second. Any further discussion on this? Seen here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
we
you.
Went through absolutely closed minutes. Chris, is there anybody on the line?
Speak up.
Can't hear you. Is that a no?
Guess it's
Yes? Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, there's nobody on the line. Is there anything else more for open
I do
admin?
want to bring one thing up. I should have mentioned in priority, Carol, is the Firemen's Carnivals that are open and around right now. Please try to attend them. They help support the fire departments and so forth. And one thing I have to bring up, at the Sykesville Carnival, there is I guess you call it a booth, where a guy has a bar. If you hang from you pay $5. If you can hang from the bar for 2 minutes, you get $50. This is a challenge to all the wrestlers that are in Carroll County, because wrestlers work on the grip all the time. Go out and give that a try. There's nothing. I did it at home.
All right.
But I was actually thinking about going out there. I wanted to try it home first before I did it in front of everybody else. But I was thinking about trying to go out there and doing it again. But anyway, challenge, go out there, give it a try. Especially the wrestlers that I'm coaching now, Gerstel, get out there, give it a try. And you think, oh, you only have to hang there for 2 minutes. It's a little more difficult than you think it is.
It's like torture.
It's different. It is. And yeah, 2 minutes is a long time when you're hanging there. And I was watching it for a while because I'm trying to, gauge it out to see if I'm going to do it or not. One person actually did it out of all the people to try while I was standing there, and I was there for a while.
Or
So
if you
it's
don't want to
difficult.
do that, they got awesome funnel cakes being sold and Hoffman's ice cream at Sykesville.
Don't eat that stuff before you try that
French
challenge,
fries, too,
okay?
right? Don't the Lions sell French fries?
And the Lions Club has the world's best French fries. So.
Where'd you spend your time? Never mind.
Wasn't at the potatoes doing the French fries, and okay.
All right, I just had to
Anything
mention
else?
that.
But no, that I appreciate it because there are.
And Tawny Towns is going on right now.
Yes, it is.
Tawny Towns is. Sykesville's got a few more days.
Yeah.
Mount Airy, I think, is still going. Or did they stop?
I think
Yeah, they wrapped up.
Yours is over.
And I think the Sykesville and Tawny Town simultaneously was different, but they're on opposite ends of the county, so I don't think it affected their participation.
Okay, let's talk agendas.
You already did the closed minutes, right?
Yep.
Earlier when we had our little
Yeah.
break. Just making sure. I thought so, but.
So, Monday, June 20th, county offices are closed in observance of Juneteenth commemoration. Commissioner Wantz will be attending the Maryland State Firemen's Association Convention throughout that week, starting on Monday the 20th. Tuesday, June 21st, I will be presenting at 8 in the morning a Chamber of Commerce breakfast discussion at Eldersburg Library. Planning Commission, Commissioner Weaver will be sitting in on that in the Reagan Room at 9 o'clock. Walk in the Park at 2 p.m. at Krimgold Park. Commissioner Boucher and Frazier will be attending. And then Commissioner Weaver and I will be attending the Veterans Advisory meeting over at American Legion Post 31 at 2 o'clock. Wednesday, there's nothing. Thursday, we have open session. We'll be doing a proclamation of Hurricane Agnes remembrance. Chris Hine will be presenting that. Okay. And then, let's see. Approval of transfer of FY22 annual housing bond allocation. Proposal for medical respite and sober center update and request for letter of commitment. Steck will be presenting. Merger of services provided by Carroll County and Recovery Support Services Facility, being presented by the Health Department Citizen Services. Proposed use for not in Carroll funding. Again, our Health Department and Citizen Services, incredible program we have there. Approval for Meadow Branch Road construction prior to the FAA grant application for FY22. Fiscal Recovery Fund update. And there should be a handful of folks that will be presenting on that. Water and Sewer Master Plan Spring Amendment. Ms. Eisenberg from Planning will be presenting. Approval for FY23 town-county agreements. The three will be Sykesville, Hampstead, and Tawnytown. And then Motorola Solutions agreements. Mr. Campbell from Public Safety will be presenting. Nothing on Friday. Saturday at 1 p.m. over at the Flood Zone, appropriately named, there'll be a 50th anniversary of Hurricane Agnes commemoration. And Commissioners Boucher, Wance, Weaver, and I at this time will be attending. On Sunday, Commissioner Frazier has the podcast. June 27th and 28th, we have nothing scheduled. June 29th, MACO Interim Legislative Committee meeting, which will be virtual with Commissioner Frazier and Wance attending. And then at 6 p.m., a virtual Planning Commission meeting with Commissioner Wance attending. Thursday, we go into open session. And right now we have nothing on the agenda, but we'll see where that goes. Friday is the first, nothing scheduled. There is a parade on Saturday, July 2nd, that I will be attending down in Sykesville. Let Freedom Ring. And then, Commissioner Frazier,
You can't have both weeks.
well, you can.
I'm not. Which
if
week
you
is
would
mine?
like to, you know.
That's okay.
So, Commissioner,
I know people are wanting for me to go week after week
so it's
after week. but
probably
it's not gonna
Commissioner
happen.
Boucher scheduled for July 3rd, I would expect.
That's correct.
Okay. Any further discussion, comments? Wait a second.
Well, so I'm glad three of you will be attending the Flood Zone Agnes thing. That's a wonderful venue, and I like for people to go out there and patronize Union Bridge. They need the help and the love.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
I got a motion, I got a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Yeah.
4-1.